Srila Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna. So this is the month of April, right? So last month of March was the mood of Lord Gauranga. So this is the month of April. So we have the mood of Lord Ram, right? Because it's the just the middle of April is Ram Navami. Next Sunday, you're all invited for a grand feast and a grand festival, okay, for Ram Navami. So I thought today we can, we can meditate this entire week on Lord Ram. Right? Lord Ram has, lot of glorious stories. It is explained that the Valmiki Ramayana that we have has 24,000 verses, right? But right in the beginning of that Valmiki Ramayana, it is actually explained that in Brahma Loka, right, the Ramayana is 1 billion verses. 1 billion. That's a lot. Right? That's a lot. So we only have 24,000. And in those 24,000, we can spend lifetimes upon lifetimes. Imagine if you got the 1 billion. Yeah. Now you know what to do in eternity. Sometimes we think, right, what will I do when I become eternal? And I go to the place of eternality. This is what you will do. Read the 1 billion shlokas. Even Mahabharata is explained. That is actually not 1 billion, a bit more, right? It's in billions in the heavenly planets. So our Shastra has many shlokas. What we have presented to us currently in this material manifestation by Vyasadeva is a limited form. And Valmiki is limited. So only 24,000 shlokas. So Ramayana is 24,000 shlokas. And the interesting thing is, if you want to see some correlation between the way Bhagavatam begins and between the way Valmiki Ramayana begins, it's very similar. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with Vyasadeva sitting and meditating. And he's thinking. What is he thinking? I am missing something. He's thinking, I'm missing something. I have done everything, but somehow I'm feeling empty. I've written all the books. I've done it all. Shrutis, Smritis, you name it. We've done it all. Still I'm feeling empty. And then at that time, by the blessings of Lord Brahma, Narad Muni comes and then explains to Vyasadeva that there is one thing you have not really expounded on, which is Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Adhoksha Jai. The real dharma is the process of bhakti. You haven't expounded on that. So now you must write Bhagavatam to expound on that. Right? So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. When we see Valmiki Ramayana, we see a similar structure. A similar concept. It begins by Valmiki sitting and meditating and thinking, who is the most perfect being? Who is that perfect person that I should write about? This is Valmiki's meditation. And who is Valmiki? Once upon a time, a great dacoit. He was a big ruffian. You walk down his street, you're not coming out with your clothes also. Like he'll take it all. He was a dangerous person. But then, by the blessings of Narad Muni, he turns a page, quite literally, and becomes a great author. Right? So, he's thinking, who is that perfect being that I should write about? Now that I have, changed and I have, got knowledge and I have got, who should I write about? At that time, again, Brahma comes. By the blessings of Brahma, Narad Muni come. And they say, there is one such personality, perfect being, that you must write about, which is Lord Ram. So that is the beginning of Valmiki Ramayana. All of this is in Balakanda, the beginning. Right? All of this is described as 1 billion shlokas and the Valmiki's meditation and how Brahma comes. I forget the name of the river where he was going and he was doing his ablutions, and that's when he thinks about all of this. And then Brahma and Narad, and they explain to him, you must write about Lord Ram. So then Valmiki starts his big book. Now here's another interesting thing about Bhagavatam and Ramayana. This is something very interesting, right? You'll see Srimad Bhagavatam. First Vyasadeva writes Srimad Bhagavatam. He writes 18,000 shlokas to the wire. Writes it perfectly, compiles it, and he's ready. Right? Then he has a son, Sukadev Goswami. Right? Son is there. Son is born. And then his son runs away from the house. Now, in order to attract his son back, what does he do? He tells his disciples, go chant Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are chanting Srimad Bhagavatam. They're saying various shlokas of Srimad Narayanam Namaskritya. They're doing all of these, wonderful shlokas they are saying. And as they are telling these shlokas, Right? Sukadev Goswami gets intrigued, especially when he hears about Putana, right? The killing of Putana. He's thinking Krishna is so sweet that although Putana, who had come to kill him, right? He accepts her as his nurse. So he finds that very intriguing, Sukadev Goswami. So he comes out and then he studies Srimad Bhagavatam. Then after studying Srimad Bhagavatam, he meets Parikshit Maharaj. And then to Parikshit Maharaj, he tells Srimad Bhagavatam. Having heard Srimad Bhagavatam in that assembly, Vyasadeva is in that assembly. So here's interesting, right? Vyasadeva is in the assembly. He has written Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the Srimad Bhagavatam that Sukadev Goswami read. Now Sukadev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit. Vyasadeva is listening and thinking, this is the best. Whoa! This is how bhakti should be explained. He goes back and recompiles Bhagavatam. 18,000 shlokas, same 18,000. He doesn't change that. But he recompiles it with the version of Sukadev Goswami. Right? So this is the amazing thing. You have to understand how these compilations are done. Right? And then that's the final conclusion of Canto. In Canto 12, all of this will be explained, of Srimad Bhagavatam. And finally, that becomes the book that we are all reading today. And Srila Prabhupada translates with such great mercy for us. Yes? So this idea, we have to understand this compilation and recompilation. Right? Now we see Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana begins with the same idea that he writes about Lord Ram. Right? And then if you see Valmiki Ramayana, it begins with the idea that two boys enter Ayodhya. Who are the two boys? Lava and Kush. They are sitting and they are amazing singers. They are not just common singers. Amazing. So they are sitting, they are coming, they are glorifying Lord Ram, and everyone's like, this is amazing. So they bring them to the assembly. Right? They bring them to the assembly of whom? Of Lord Ram. Okay? Now, Lord Ram already knows what happened in Ramayana. Right? He was there. He's like, guys, I was there. Don't worry about it. It's about me. I know what happened. But he's listening and thinking, this is amazing. This is the best. So this is the amazing thing about Shastra. That when we read Shastra, right? When Krishna also hears it, he becomes amazed. He says, this is so amazing. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would ask his disciples to read Krishna book. Right? And they would read Krishna book. And, they would read and Srila Prabhupada would enjoy. Right? So, one time he asked a disciple, book is really nice, right? He says, yes, Srila Prabhupada, you have written it. He says, no. This is Krishna. Krishna has written. This is Krishna's word. This is very enjoyable. So, the idea is that in Shastra, you don't get bored. That's why when we think of, Ananta Sesha, he has thousands and thousands of hoods. And with each of the hoods, he's glorifying Krishna. He's enjoying and he's not coming to the end of that enjoyment. That's amazing, isn't it? That this idea of Shastra. So anyway, this is, all of this wonderful thing is also explained in Valmiki Ramayana, in the beginning, Balakanda. Then as all of this is described, we get into the story of who Lord Ram is. Right now, every one of us knows Krishna. Nefarious guy, isn't he? Krishna. Dodgy character. Everybody, whenever you think of Krishna, the first thing you think about is dodgy guy. It's Krishna. His name is Kana. Kana means one who teases. That's his name. Be careful. One who teases, right? So you have to be careful with Krishna. He's very, he's very notorious. He's very hard to capture. Then, of course, sometimes people want Krishna in a more sedated manner. When Krishna in Vrindavan, he is full on. Like, it's the most unsober position you can get. But sometimes you want Krishna in a sober manner. Like you need a little sobriety in Krishna. Then you come into Mathura Leela and Dwaraka Leela. Now you get Krishna who's a bit more nice. Right? In Krishna Leela, in Vrindavan Leela, somebody tells Krishna, Krishna, you stole the butter. He said, I didn't steal. He said, Krishna, there's butter in your mouth. I didn't steal it. There's butter in your hands. I didn't steal it. Okay, so this is Krishna. In Dwaraka, you stole the Shamantaka jewel. Okay, all right, I'll go find it. You see, it changes, right? Now sober. Bit more sober. There in Vrindavan, Krishna is full on. No, I didn't do it. But then when you come to Dwaraka Leela, Krishna becomes, okay, all right, I stole it, all right, I'll go get it. I'll go get the jewel. You see, mood changes. But of course, even in Dwaraka, you find Krishna to be a bit, dicey, because guess when Kurukshetra happened? Right about at the Dwaraka Leela time. You're like, no, Krishna is still very dodgy. So then Krishna takes another form. What is that other form? Lord Ram. Right? And this form of Lord Ram, this is now Maryada Purushottam. Right? Now this is Pakka, following all the dharmas to the wire. Krishna won't follow any dharma. What does Krishna tell Arjuna? Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all the dharma. Simply surrender to me. And we'll go for a ride. Right? Krishna is one of those surfers, surfers, a big wave comes, breaks your board. He's like, don't worry, man. Just come along for the ride. That's Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Right? So that's the mood. But then, of course, Lord Ram, now you get a full Maryada personification. Now, of course, what happens is, when you get soberness, you get limitation. You understand? When a person becomes sober, he becomes limited. Right? When he's the most unsober, he's the most unlimited. So Krishna in Vrindavan is the most unlimited. Like, for example, it is said that the Rasa Leela that is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, the one that is explained, that is just one incident that is explained, right? That had only 2 billion gopis, not more. Only. Right, so that's Vrindavan. Now you come to Dwaraka, 16,108 wives. Right, numbers limit. Because, more sober, limited. Then you come to Lord Ram, extremely sober. Only one wife. No one else. Eka patni vratadharo. Rajarshi charita suchi. First he is Eka patni vratadharo, only one. Then Rajarshi charita suchi. His behavior, suchi, is the best. Swadharmam griya mediyam sikshayan swayam acharat. His achara, his behavior is how? Sikshayan. So he can teach one how to be sober. Are you understanding? That soberness. So as devotees, we have to learn to be sober. So then we take that soberness from Lord Ram. So in our chanting, when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we say Lord Ram means satisfied. When you become satisfied, you become sober. Do you understand? Let's say you're extremely hungry. What do? Ladies, they tend to cook, but men, we're going to the pantry. Kids, they go into the pantry, just start, where's food? I get so, agitated when I'm hungry. I'll just find some cashew nuts, just open the packet and start eating cashew nuts. Hungry. Right? You become unsober. But once you have eaten, now you become sober. Okay, now I'm relaxed. Now you close the packet, put it down nicely, clean the place up. Right? Now you are sober. So when you become satisfied, you become sober. So Lord Ram is that satisfaction, is that soberness. Right? Are you getting? So that mood we have to understand as devotees, that we have to be sober. So as we are chanting Krishna's name, as we are dancing in Aarti, we have to remember, from that process of devotional service should come soberness. That is why it is said that devotee is the most sober, is one of the qualities of a devotee. Of the 26 qualities, right? This is one of the qualities that is described. So this is from the beginning that we get from Lord Ram. Right? So now Lord Ram is here. He takes his birth in a very sober manner. Very sober birth. Right? Lord Ram's Yagya is done. You get a nice son. Right? Krishna's birth. Oh yeah. Go to jail, dungeons, people falling asleep, jails opening up, father walking in the rain, Anantasesh coming on top, rivers are going apart, he's full on. This is Krishna. Krishna is full on, You want emotion, you want movie, you need Krishna. Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. Usually they don't close the curtain, yeah? Maybe they are offering prasadam. Usually at this time we offer bhoga to Krishna, but generally on Sundays we keep it open, but today they might have decided to close it, so that's okay. Right? So anyway, this is Lord Krishna, full on. Right? Krishna is full on. But then Lord Ram is a bit more nice, bit more sober. You do a Yagya Purusha comes, right? It says, okay, here you go. And then, the rice, not rice, kheer, the sweet rice. Sweet rice is given, and then, all the three ladies share. Right? And then we get the 4 Purushas. The 4 Purusha, they are called Purusha avatars. Right? So we have Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Vasudeva. These are the 4 Chaturvyuhas. These 4 are ones who create and maintain this manifestation. Right? Shankarshana being the field. Right? Any field, like this ground, field, that is Shankarshana. Then Pradyumna being the desire. Now that there is a ground, let's all come together. Right? Why are you all here? Why? Because temple is here, floor is here, so everyone is coming and sitting. You get it? Because now field is there, you can do something. That's Pradyumna, the need and the desire. Field is Shankarshana, need and desire becomes Pradyumna. Then Vasudev, now you have sat down, now something should happen. Kirtan is happening, class is happening. You see, Aarti is going on, so many things. Now activity, process is happening. Right? So field, then need, then activity. And what is all of this being done for? There is a goal. So we can all become Krishna conscious. So there is a goal. So this is Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Vasudeva and Aniruddha. Right? The field, the need, the process and the goal. Right? So this is the setup. Now these four personalities come as the son of Dasharatha. Now Dasharatha is old. Right? He's old. He's thinking, I don't have children. Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda are also old. They're also thinking we don't have children. So Vasudeva Devaki similarly are thinking, hey man, our kids are getting, killed. So of course in Krishna Leela it's quite, out there. Lord Ram, bit more polite, bit more nicer. So then as a benediction they get these four Purusha avatars. So we have Lord Ram, he is Vasudeva. We have Bharat Maharaj, he is Pradyumna. We have Shatrughan, he is Aniruddha. And then we have Lakshmana, he is Shankarshana. Right? So these are the four Chaturvyuhas. These four, when they flip over to Dwaraka Leela, you will have Krishna, Balaram, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. These same four personalities become this in Dwaraka Leela. And then finally when you go to Krishna Leela, they all merge all into Krishna himself. So that's why Krishna has Madan Mohan, Shankarshan Pradyumna, Madan Mohan. Right? Then you have Govindaji. Right? That's the Sankarshan Pradyumna Vasudev. And then Aniruddha. Who's? Gopinath. Right? So you see how from one personalities, then you get four and then you get these four. Like that's how Ayodhya Leela takes place. Right? So you have to understand how these Leelas, how all of this is pulled out. Right? And again, these four will always be very sober. They're very sober in their positioning. Right? You will see Lord Ram being extremely sober in his behavior. You see Bharat being extremely sober in his behavior. You see Shatrughan being every sober. Shatrughan was the one who set up Mathura. Mathura Dham that Shatrughan was the one who established that. He kills Lohavana and then he establishes that whole area. Right? And then finally you have Lakshmana. Now Lakshmana of course gets a little angry. He does have that little bit of that. He has a little bit of that, Vrindavan, Dwaraka mood. Little bit he does have that. So that is why it is explained. And this is even there in Valmiki Ramayana that he decides that in the next Leela, he will come as elder brother because he's like, Lord Ram really smashed me in this Leela, like as a younger brother. He's like, I'm not doing younger brother anymore. I'm coming as elder brother. So then he comes as Balaram and then he shows his full prowess. Right? So there is that, in Lakshmana you can see that tinge, that little bit of that tinge because he's field. And so the field is always very dicey. Right? Little bit of that is there. So that is Lakshmana. Now these four personalities are coming. And these four personalities are giving great examples to all of us. Because they are Maryada Purushottama. These are the position of how one should deal very nicely. Right? So this is what you will notice. And this is why it is always good to compare how Krishna Leela goes versus how Lord Ram's Leela goes. Right? Ram gives up his kingdom. Bharat takes it. Bharat says, no, I don't want the kingdom. Right? Lord Ram deserves it. Then you see in Krishna Leela, Kamsa is, sending his father to jail, saying, no, I'm taking the kingdom. Duryodhana is trying to kill the Pandavas. You see, it's very dicey there. So whenever Krishna is there, you will have that openness, that mood changes. Right? So we have to appreciate this. This thing we have to appreciate. But then some people, they find that a little too much, the Krishna Leela. Of course, you have to understand, unsober position gives you the most enjoyment. Right? When, whenever you want to enjoy, let's say, nowadays kids have given selectives. I hope all of you did well in your selective exams. I'm hearing a lot of kids give selectives. When they pass their selectives, or forget passing the selectives, when you finish the exams, the kid just, now I want to relax. Because I've been sober for 4 months, studying right now. So, although unsober may not seem very nice, but it's actually the most enjoyable position. So that's why Krishna Leela is considered the best. Right? But of course, if you prefer sober, then yes, you have Lord Ram's Leela. You want even more sober than Lord Ram. Now you come to Vaikuntha Leela. Now that's really sober. Right? You're no messing around there. Extremely sober. Right? Nobody takes Vishnu's kingdom. Nobody takes his kingdom. You don't do all that stuff. So in Lord Ram, you still have a little bit of that. Lord Ram goes to exile. His kingdom has to be forfeited. All of these things you notice. Right? So now here in Lord Ram's Leela, it is explained in the beginning as Valmiki Muni. He's writing all of this. The two boys, when they are singing and Lord Ram is listening, he's thinking, this is the most amazing story ever. Now, Lord Ram is considering this. Why? Why? Because Krishna's Leelas are so amazing that it even makes Krishna, right, feel like this is the best thing ever. This is the mood. This mood when Krishna feels, wow, this Leela is so amazing. This is the mood where he starts thinking, the devotee is enjoying more than me. Are you getting? That this part, where Krishna is, like here in this case in Valmiki Ramayana, you hear Lord Ram is hearing Ramayana and is thinking, this is the best. At this point, he starts thinking, devotees are enjoying more than me. Because I am doing the Leela, but they are observing it. So they are enjoying more. Why? Because when he is listening to the Leela, now he is the observer. He is listening to the Leela, right? He is the observer. He is enjoying. So he's thinking this enjoyment is very nice. This becomes the mood of Lord Chaitanya. Now do you see how the Navadvip mood comes in? Right? So this is Navadvip mood. So that is why I think we were doing, right now in Sunday school, we were discussing with all the kids, that in the Navadvip Leela, or in the Mayapur Leela, or in the Gaura Leela, right? You get people from all categories. You'll get devotees who are from Vraja Leela. You'll get devotees from Mathura Leela. You get devotees from Dwaraka Leela. You get devotees from Ayodhya Leela. You get devotees from Vaikuntha Leela. You get Brahmavadis, you get Mayavadis, and you get the full-on atheists. So much so that guess who was the king at that time? Muslims. And they were eating beef. There was a Muslim king and he was eating beef. So full-on atheists. This is Gaura Leela. Everyone's invited. So Gaura Leela is, we think Krishna is unsober. Wait till you get to Gaura Leela. That's unsober extreme. Right? That is like everyone's invited. Even the atheist, even the agnostic, even those who are going contrary to religion. They are all invited to participate in Gaura Leela. Why? Because once upon a time, we were also like an atheistic and agnostic person. Why once upon a time? Forget once upon a time. Right? Right now, if one of us falls ill, we're like, oh God. We forget about God, we forget about anything, right? There is this beautiful, there's a beautiful poetry written, Mukunda Mala Stotra, but written by King Kulashekara. He says something very nice there. He says that, may the swan of my mind immediately seek down to the stems of the lotus feet of your lordship. Otherwise, at the time of my death, when my throat is choked up with cough, how is it possible to think of you? But what an amazing line, right? Now, just think back when you last coughed or sneezed. You think of Krishna at that time? It just goes black, something whitey, shiny coming. Nothing. At that time, you don't remember Krishna. So this is this is King Kulashekar. He's saying, I must remember Krishna while I am normal, because when my bodily state is not good, it is hard to remember Krishna. Right? So in Gaura Leela, the reason why you get all varieties of people, all variety, is because Lord Chaitanya understands that once upon a time, everyone was an agnostic. Once upon a time, everybody was atheistic. But through the process of understanding Shastra, through the process of understanding devotion, one can come at least to the realization, right, that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So now in Gaura Leela, the amazing thing is, everybody knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody. Right? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then they all have their moods. Murari Gupta likes Lord Ram. And who is Murari Gupta? He actually wrote the biography of Lord Chaitanya. The first 24 years he's written. He's written it. Right? But then he is Lord Ram. So then you get all these varieties of people. Right? In Gaura Leela. But they all understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because there Krishna is the most relaxed. He has no rules and no regulation. And so you get this mood in Krishna's chanting. That is why we call this chanting the Mahamantra. Na niyama, na kala. Na niyama, na kala. That when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, you don't need to be clean. You don't need to be clean. No. The mantra will purify you. But if you have to, let's say, do Gayatri mantra. Nowadays, when I see people playing it in the, in the speakers, I've seen that. That's not really recommended. In Narayana Upanishad, where all the Gayatris are given, this is written explicitly that this is not recommended. It's written there, right? So you should follow the Upanishad that has all the Gayatris, including the ones Gaudiyas use, us guys, our Gopal mantra, whatever we guys use. All of them are described in the Narayana Upanishad. And they said one should not sing this loudly. But anyway, the point is that if you have to actually do Gayatri mantra, you must first take a shower. First, you have to be clean. First, you have to be clean. Now you have to sit down. You have to sit down in the right direction. You have to have the right time. Trisandhyam. Trisandhyam, and the 3 times of the day. Now you can do Gayatri. Right? So specific. Then you have to also have Upanayan. So there are a lot of restrictions. And this process you will go through practically in all the mantras. But when it comes to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it says na niyama, na kala. Why? The Maha Mantra is so pure. The Hare Krishna is so pure, it will purify you. Lord Chaitanya walks around holding his tongue. Right? Everyone is seeing why is Lord Chaitanya holding his tongue. He's roaming around, holding his tongue. He says, and Gopal Guru, right? Yeah, Gopal Guru. This little boy, 7-year-old. He sees Lord Chaitanya. My dear Lord Chaitanya, why are you holding your tongue? Kids are a bit more relaxed. They openly ask the question. They say, Lord Chaitanya, why are you? He's saying that I can't stop reverberating the name of Krishna. I can't stop it. He says, because I can't stop it, I right now need to go to the toilet, so I'm trying to hold my tongue, because toilet is an impure place. Gopal Guru, 7-year-old boy. My dear Krishna, at the time of one's death, one loses control of all of his gates. We have 9 gates. We lose control of all of our gates. So at that time, our lower gates will be let loose. Right? In movies they show how people die. No. Ask a nurse. Ask a nurse. They will tell you how people die. All your gates open up. I have seen someone die. Horrifying experience for me. I was 17. I had just turned 17 and I saw someone die. When I say saw, meaning it's not like I went there, no. I just happened to be in the emergency. Anyway, that's a separate. The point here is that your lower gates, it says, and then when your lower gates give way, you are at the most impure state. But it is at that moment, you must remember Krishna. So, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, na niyama, na kala. Because at the worst moments of our life, right, we have to remember Krishna. So therefore, no rules, no regulations. So this is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, right? So this is Lord Chaitanya. In Lord Chaitanya, you get the most. Like when we're talking about unbounded, in Lord Chaitanya Leela, we get the most. So now coming back to Lord Ram's Leela, we first appreciate that how Lord Ram, because he's enjoying listening to Ramayana, how that mood then transforms into Gauranga's mood. So we start. This is called I forgot the term that is used. It is the Panchanga Nyaya. It is called when you bring all the Shastra's knowledge together. That's what we need to do. I forgot the term. Something I forget. But coming back here. So now as Lord Ram is listening and as the story of Lord Ram goes, they say that Lord Ram is born as a green person. Green person. Wow. That's something. Green. Lord Ram, green. Yeah, green. And it is said Krishna is multicolored. Right? Krishna's incarnations are multicolored. We see Garga Muni say, yes, this boy Krishna was born in the color red, in the color yellow, in the color white, in the color black. Now if you start expanding, you have a green Krishna as well, Lord Ram. He's green. You may be thinking, sometimes we have this, this color problem. Nowadays it's big. There's a big issue in this material world about skin color and color problems. Right? Wars are being fought and all of these, revolt is being done. The woke, the wokeism is taking over. Cancel culture is there, all about skin color. But Krishna says, hey man, what color would you like? Imagine you meet Krishna, it's like, going into Bunnings. The Bunnings, that paint section? What color do you want? Krishna has all those colors. Of course, his foremost color is black. That's the foremost color, because when you mix all colors together, what color do you get? Black. Every color, when you just ram it all up together, that's the color. Krishna. But then, if you want variety, Krishna can give variety. And lots of variety. Some of you may be avid photographers, or like to watch birds, or like flowers. You see the color in flowers and the color in the birds. So amazing, isn't it? The colors. If you go to the farm, you see peacocks. Sometimes you just sit and just observe the peacock. You'll be shocked at, it's like shiny neon type of color comes out of the, when the sun shines on the peacock. You're thinking, what is this color combination? And you think that is attractive. No. Wait till you meet Krishna. Now, that's color combination. So Krishna is a combination of all such colors, and he provides this variety of colors. This is Krishna. That's his nature. Right? He loves a variety of colors. Yep. So now, Lord Ram, it is explained that he is born green. Of course, I think he's light green, like lightish green, not dark green. This is dark green, but lightish green. But he's green color. Right? And now you may be thinking, okay, imagine, just for a minute, just imagine, you meet someone who's green. You're like, what? What's this? But Lord Ram is so attractive that despite being green, people are thinking, what an amazing kid. Despite being green in color. Right? So this thing you have to start understanding, the attraction that Lord Ram provides. He is extremely attractive. Right? And now, there is a type of attraction that Lord Ram presents. And that attraction is that one should be very articulate in following dharma. Perfect. We see when Bharat Maharaj, he meets Lord Ram. And he tells Lord Ram, my dear Lord Ram, all right, two problems. He says, first, you told my dad, right, that Bharat will be installed as king. That is the first promise you gave. Remember, Lord Ram gave two promises to Dasharath Maharaj. Right? So Bharat is telling his brother, Lord Ram, this is in, when he meets, when he finally comes and meets him, saying, what's going on here. So he tells Lord Ram, there are two problems. He says, first, you gave a promise that Bharat will become king of Ayodhya. You gave the promise? He said, yes. Then the second promise you gave on the basis of the first promise. On the basis of the first promise, you gave the second promise that I will go in exile. Do you agree? Now Vashishta Muni, everyone is there. All the rishis, they are all there. They are all saying, yes, that is correct. Bharat Maharaj is presenting. He said, this is correct? He said, yes. He says, now, I am not taking the kingdom. Now what are we going to do? I'm not taking it. That's it. I'm not taking it. Now, conundrum, isn't it? He said, now, if the first vow cannot be completed, then the second vow was built on the first. So, there is no question of you going to exile. Now, this is called presentation. We'll be like, make our PowerPoints. Lord Ram. Press a slide. This Shastra, this Shloka is given. No, Bharat is so crystal clear in his presentation. So crystal clear. Right? This is called, clear. This is called clarity. We have to understand what clarity means. This is his presentation. Okay. You first promised that I'll be king. Then on top of that, you said, now I will go into exile so that his kingdom can be secured. Like Bharat's kingdom. So that was the issue, right? KK said, okay, you just take king. Tomorrow, Lakshman will come and do whatever he has to do. Again, like we said, Lakshman is a little bit fiery personality. He says, no, so I want you to go to exile. So Bharat's presentation is, if the first vow has not been fulfilled, what is the question of fulfilling the second vow? This is Lord, he's also Lord Bharat. His presentation to Lord Ram. And he is, standing there firmly with this presentation. Lord Ram then tells him that, see, I gave a vow to my father. Taking kingdom, not taking kingdom is your problem. You want to take the kingdom, you don't want to take the kingdom, that's for you to decide. Right? I gave my vow, I'm stepping away. So Lord Ram likes to have articulate dharma. You have to understand when we say Lord Ram is Maryada Purushottam. Even in this conundrum, he is able to present himself. So it's very amazing when you read that. Vashishta Muni all saying, yes, Bharat, you're correct. Then when Lord Ram said, no, Lord Ram, now you're correct. So they're like, because it's so wonderfully being presented, this what do you call, dialogue between two brothers, both of whom don't want to become king. Nice, right? And so this is, whenever such type of conversations take place, it generates great rasa, great taste. Right? We see Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami. Right? What is the situation there? What is the situation? Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami. Parikshit has given up kingdom. Sukadev, he's roaming around naked. So, two naked men are discussing. Great rasa. Right? Rasamalayam. Great rasa. Then we see, how does Bhagavad Gita take place? Arjuna is saying, I want to give up everything. So a person is in a state of completely giving up. And Krishna, he's walking around as a Parsarthi. I ain't picking up any weapons. I'm just a charioteer. Now, so can you start seeing this? So, in this mood, now great rasa comes. So here when Bharat and it's a very beautiful section in Valmiki Ramayana when you read this dialogue between these two personalities. It's very sweet, very tasty. That's why it is said Rasamalayam, right? So, Muhur Aho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. He says that this Shastra is so nice. Of course, this is for Srimad Bhagavatam. This is what I'm saying. But it is explained that this taste is so nice because when two personalities who have completely given up the need for this material manifestation, when they discuss, great rasa comes. And he says, Rasika, you should be like a drunk man and you should drink such nectar. Like a drunk man, you should drink. A drunk man never says no, right? One more for the road. Imagine all of us are sitting here, right? And this class goes on till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And you're all about to leave. No, one more. One more shloka for the road. No, we'll be like, when's it finishing? So we don't have that rasika, but there are people who are rasikas. Sukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, they are rasikas. They can sit. Can you imagine? Parikshit Maharaj is glorified because he says for 7 days, 7 nights, he did not eat, drink or sleep. Right? So he's glorious. Sukadev Goswami did not eat, drink or sleep and kept speaking. 7 straight days. If you do the math, 14,000 shlokas by 7 days, we've got about a minute and a half each shloka. I've done the math. Right? That's the speed at which they were going. Right? That's the speed at which this knowledge is being described. Yep. So please take this opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Ramayana summary is given. And also, I forget the name of the devotee, he is now released Valmiki Ramayana in the exact form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text, synonyms, translation, purport. Very nice. You should read it. Very beautiful book. Right? So we will end here. It's now time for 7 o'clock Aarti. Please join the devotees in the Aarti. Like we said, place is here, field is here, devotees are here. Let us do the process. Right? And the goal is also coming now. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय राम जय राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमणि श्री गणिताई की प्लीज पे योर obeisances to Lordship.